Hello everyone and welcome back to Chaos Creations. I'm sorry I haven't done a video for a little while. There's been lots going on and it's not because of Christmas or New Year's or the amount of pudding I may have consumed. It's actually above me, which is my light. I'm in a brand new house and it is a small little room, and all of a sudden my light started to flicker badly, like really on and off, like it was like on the fritz. And unfortunately, it meant the fact that I could only use little like lamps that are over here, and they're quite bright, but still not enough to light the room. So thankfully, that's been repaired, and I'm now able to do videos in beautiful bright light. Now, before I talk about this amazingly huge thing, I want to talk about something very, very serious and very sad. So the grandfather, the great master himself, Brian Ansell, who made Warhammer for the most part, and also, from what I understand, had a little bit of a hand in 40K. A lot of his stuff was taken from other games that he had done and popped into 40K, bolters and some of the armor and such. He died just before Christmas. Now everyone's hustling and bustling about, oh my goodness, the old world is back and how wonderful it is and everything. And look, don't get me wrong, that's awesome, it's beautiful. But I want everyone just to take a moment to understand the fact that Brian Ansell, the man who made all of this possible, died just before his baby once again was reborn. Now don't get me wrong, I'm sure he was told about it and he may have had a part in it, I don't know. But I find it very sad that online, I've not seen any videos even mention him. I'm sure there are, don't get me wrong. But he died just before Christmas, and I've waited, and I've waited, and I've not seen anyone do any videos on him or talk about him in the slightest. And I want people to understand the fact that this man is a legend. He really is. I think whenever I had my first game of Warhammer, and I would love it if everyone else did the same thing, you don't have to tip your hat and say, oh, Mr. Chaos said to do it and so forth. But my first game, I will have a moment of silence for Brian. Because, like I said, because of him, we have all this stuff now. We have high fantasy, we have undead, vampire counts, Bretonians, and Empire. Now, don't get me wrong, his very first version was very rough and very raw, but it's the foundation which we've all worked on and loved and played and enjoyed over the years. I miss you, Brian. I never met you, but I will miss you. Right. So let us begin with tonight. So the old world is exploding. There is pictures galore. I tonight have seen photos of dwarven dice. There's rumors of a plastic war mammoth for chaos. There's all sorts of interesting conversations. The whole interweb is alive with photos, videos, and all sorts of things. Apparently, the rules have been leaked on something called Telegram. I really don't care. Look, for the most part, I'll wait for the rules. And that, interestingly enough, said I will be getting the rules at the stroke of midnight on the 20th. So where I'm going to be getting my copies from, they will be having a midnight release. So I will have them Australian time at midnight, which is quite interesting. And before that, they'll be having a quiz night, which I'll go to and have some fun and enjoy. So until then, people can fly rumors around left, right, and centre. I don't care anymore. The rules are coming out in about, 2 weeks-ish, give or take. What's that? So 7 double? Yeah, anyway. Look, it's going to come out shortly. I'll wait till then. The only thing I'm annoyed about is they haven't given us exact base sizes for what and what. But it looks like I was very correct a couple of weeks ago about horses just being exactly the same. And Bretonians were going to be the only thing that's going to be on the 30 by 60s. So it looks like my common sense and my spidey sense actually worked for once. So this thing is massive. This is insanely huge. So at the top here, we've got a couple of little necromancers just for scale. So they're on top there. And over here, I've got a little skeleton sticking out. And you can have, if you want to, a standard bearer which always falls over most of the time, right there. So you can see exactly how big this thing is. It is insanely huge. And you can actually take it apart as well. So that comes off, and that bit comes off. And of course, you've got your little stairwell and so forth in there. So the reason why I've done this is a bit of nostalgia. I used to own Mighty Empires, and then it was sold by my wife at the time for stupidly cheap. I think she sold it for $10. And it wasn't because anything other than the fact that she thought Warhammer was stupid and I should grow up and not, have models and so forth. And she sold like 20 years worth of models disturbingly cheap. And she did it on purpose to hurt me. Funny enough, I am no longer with this woman, and I am slowly but surely getting my miniatures back together. And if you saw my shorts, you would have seen I had Mr. Krell here. Now, he's fine cast, but I have to admit, as fine casts go, he's not too bad. And the other day, I picked up the Lich Master, so I'm getting the band back together. I'm getting back some of my old models. So, I do have, Vlad von Cast. I haven't got Isabella yet, but I'm working on it, and I'm always looking around. And slowly but surely, I want to get back all those old miniatures that I used to have. Now, now the paint job on him that I did was absolutely stunning. I don't know. I fluked that and got it looking amazing, really good. I don't know if I'll be able to do him justice, but I will try. And the same with Krell. I don't think I've ever owned a Krell before. I think I did a metal one, but my memory's a bit shoddy. But either way, I've got them both back, and I'll work on the rest later on. Now, what I've also been doing is some bases for cavalry. Now, I'm not doing Bretonians, but, that's never stopped me before. So, you can see all your bases in there. Now, this is for Bretonian horses, funny enough. So if my mate Daniel, hi Daniel, wants to take some Bretonians for maybe a contingency for his Empire army or something, he can have a couple of bases which will help him out. I also decided to make some some templates. Now you get templates inside the actual box set itself, but I decided, well, let's just make some nice bases. I wouldn't call them bases all this time. It is late at night, so that's a nice blast marker, small one, and that's a bigger blast marker, and of course your good old fireball / flamethrower template. So I can paint these up nice and red and gold. I made up two, so once again, Daniel will get a nice copy of these. Yes, I do spoil Daniel, don't I? But he is a nice guy, and he's doing it tough, and so I like to help him out as best I can. So he can paint these up gold and silver or something, make them look nice and pretty, and I'll do mine in maybe yellows and reds and such for the sands of Camry and so forth, just to keep it going. Now, I haven't done any painting. I haven't done anything except for some printing. Now, I've got other things printed, some ruins and so forth, and you'll see them later on once they're painted up. But for the moment, with Christmas, New Year's and so forth, and not having a proper light, I really didn't want to paint anything just on one light. That said, I'm also a bit concerned with bases, not because, it really matters too much, but I would like to possibly do some sort of champions, go into some sort of league and do it professionally if I'm good enough. So I want to make sure I've got as many nice bases as humanly possible. Well, as unhumanly possible for the undead. That said, I am very shocked there is no new Cetra model. I thought, we would get a new Cetra model, not a problem. And that said, we still might. I mean, people are going on, oh my goodness, there is no Cetra, there's this, but look, it's early days. They might say, well, look, we've brought the game out. Let's just do some revamping. Let's bring out some newer models, a new Cetra, a new this, a new that. Now, that said, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm not particularly troubled by the older models. The only thing I hope they've fixed is these plastic skeletons have a weak point at the base here. So the join part for this part here, always so much of a problem. You know, either all of a sudden the top of torso would fall off my miniatures. It was a right pain in the bum. And also I think that the heads are a bit big and the arms are a bit small, but that's just me. If they fix that join bit there, oh man, I'm going to be happy. I mean, if this is all one piece, oh, I'm happy. I'll be in bliss. But I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. I think we're just going to get the old models that we've had before, you know, and nothing's really going to change. Now, there is one thing I have seen a lot of online, on YouTube in particular, and it's really grinding my gears. And that is the fact that everyone's going on, is the new Warhammer dead on arrival? Will it fail again? You know, it's going to fail before it even begins, blah, 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 blah. How about we have some positivity, guys? Let's have a lot of, let's go for it, Warhammer. Let's see the best we can do. And as always, if a game is getting a lot of love and a lot of attention, then it's not going to die. If people are regularly buying the miniatures, buying the books, buying this, buying that, then Games Workshop aren't stupid. They're going to follow the money. Oh, look, you know, we made, you know, an insane amount of money the first year of Warhammer, the old world. That was pretty good. We made a huge amount of money. So let's next year bring out a new Cetra, some new Bretonians, new Empires. No, let's bring out some Vampire Counts and Skaven, and bring out Lustria, and let's bring out Cathay and so forth, and go from there. And if once again, if that sells, then the next year, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. The only bit of gossip I like at the moment, and I've heard it from a fair few places, is they have put a fair amount of money into this. Now, it doesn't look like it, because they're using a lot of the old models, but that's on purpose. They just want to get models out to people. You know, I've never had, I've had a Skaven army before, and I've had some remnants of a demon army and a little bit of chaos, but mostly it's been undead. I've never had an orc army in my life, never. I've never had a beastman army in my life, nor a dark elf army. But that said, if the price is right, I'll take on a Skaven army. I'll take on a beastman army, not a problem. And why? Because A, I'll enjoy playing them. B, it brings money back into the game, so therefore they'll be more interested in it and so forth. And C, I think I'll have a lot of fun with them. I mean, I thought of an orc and goblin army. Now, I've seen ones where it's just been all snotlings and one goblin. And I've seen some where it's just all goblins and one orc. And I've seen ones all black orcs and the normal types and so forth. And they've all been a lot of fun. You know, and I would like to do those sort of things. I would just love to have one which is just all spiders. You know, spiders galore. And that's it. You know, with spider goblins, guys on the back of spiders, you know, have a big orc, you know, a humongous arachnid or something, you know, a big tarantula, something like that. I'd love to do something like that. Chaos, well, you know, it depends. If they go into like the Chaos Lords and so forth, you know, there's always fun. Those Slanesh with the hot pinks and so forth, and they used to have, you know, the Pestigors and so forth for Nurgle, and the Beastmen of Pleasure and so forth with their pink robes and such. I mean, I'd love to do a themed army like that. I mean, I don't know if I'd do Slanesh, but I might actually do Khorne, believe it or not. But, you know, anything like that. Just beautiful, vibrant colours for once. You know, none of this like, you know, it's black with a trim and dry brush of gunmetal and a sword in its hand, which is gunmetal, and a little bit of red for the eyes, and that's it. I would love to spend the time doing something really gaudish and outlandish for chaos, you know? And Beastmen, well, I played Beastmen in Mordheim, and I love the Beastmen in Mordheim, and the models aren't that hard to paint. So, you know, I can whack out a batch of like 20 in an afternoon once they're undercoated and so forth. So they're actually quite easy. It's just brown with a dry brush and tan or something, maybe a few highlights on weapons and so forth, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. Thank you very much. Next. And since I print on my bases, that's pretty handy. So I guess what I want to say tonight is pre-orders, what, on the 6th, as I hinted at. Please don't go on everything I say as gospel. Like I said, half the time people have said, this, that, and the other to me, and I've just repeated it like a parrot, I guess, because I believed in it and I wanted to believe in it. But, at the moment, I think everyone should take a grain of salt with everything they see, unless, of course, they see a physical. If, someone showed me actual dwarven dice, so I can say, well, there's a packaging of dwarven dice. That's very nice. Somebody said to me the fact that, what was it? They were thinking of doing dwarves on the back of giant rams. Now, that in itself sounds absolutely hilarious and fun, but I can't see it happening personally. It'd be nice, very, very funny. Very Lord of the Rings, I must admit, but still very funny. But until I see a photo, I ain't going to believe it. So, in cap, everyone, stay safe. Pre-orders on the 6th. There's a lot out there. Some of it is in Australian prices is very high, and some of it in Australian prices I'm quite shocked. I mean, it's like $60 or something for dice, and I'm like, no, I have plenty of dice. Fine, they're nicely themed and so forth, but no. Interesting enough, I do find the one more thing that, like stores over here, non-GW stores that are gaming stores, I've seen some of their lists. Interestingly enough, there are certain things that these stores are not getting. So the big map that you can get, that's not coming to these stores. What was the other thing? There was something else. Some of the resin undead, the Lich Lord, the Standard Bearer, and so forth, they're not coming to these stores. They're only on GW by the looks of it, because they're not on any of the lists. I couldn't look at it to pre-order it. And there was a couple of other things that I thought was pretty odd that I could not pre-order. The carrion, not the carrion, the swarms of insects and so forth. I can't order them either. I'm going to do that on the site on GW. So on Saturday, I'll be going for the swarms, the map, and more than likely one or two other bits and pieces. I do find it interesting that a lot of it is still in good old-fashioned metal, the Shanty in particular, coming in at metal. I didn't see Screaming Skull catapults, which was interesting. I didn't see carrion birds on the list. I didn't see a few other things. There was, bone giants, and a few other, interesting oddities, but that might be coming out later on. So this is the first wave, and then maybe after the 20th, the week after that, they might say bone giants and Screaming Skull catapults and this and this and this will be available. So what I would suggest everyone do, buy your armies, buy your books, buy everything you need, but understand the fact that on the 20th, when we get our books, and if I open up the Tomb Kings one and it goes, hey, wow, look at that. We can have, 25 Tomb Scorpions in my army, or I can have 7 Bone Giants. And then I go, well, there's no models for these. Don't be alarmed. If they can make a buck, it'll be coming out very shortly. In fact, if I remember rightly, out of all of the miniatures for Tomb Kings, I think there was only 1 or 2 models they never actually made, which I found quite shocking. And that was like an opposite version of the Bone Giant and I think a character model, if I remember rightly. Anyway, I do have a competition running to Legions Imperialis stuff. There's 3 different prizes out there. If you want to tell your friends about it, they can win stuff, and please do, because take it away from me as quickly as humanly possible. Once we get to the subscription numbers, it's all yours. God bless. Thank you very much for getting it out of my hair. The Legions Imperialis stuff at the moment is some of the miniatures, a whole lot of the stuff that I 3D printed that is just taking up a huge amount of room, and a starter box for Adepta Titanicus, which can be also used for Legions Imperialis. After that, I'm just going to start randomly messaging people and going, hey, wow, you have won this, do you want it? And it'll just be a piece of Legions Imperialis terrain. Some of them are huge, some of them are big statuettes and so forth. Just stuff that's all terrain, like a freeway system, highway, things like that. I just want it gone. I'd rather have it out there for other people to use and enjoy, rather than me just keeping it here sitting in a box. Anyway, any questions, just ask. Like if you like this video, and if you're not a subscriber, please do. That would be wonderful. Please, 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 please. And everyone have a great day. This is Chaos signing off. It's about midnight here in Perth, Western Australia, on a very hot Wednesday evening. Bye.